Everybody, and welcome to Top Comics to Pre-Order in a Flash. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is our really quick show where we go over some of the hottest titles that you can pre-order by this weekend, kind of give you the biggest head start we can on giving you time to order these books since there's such a tight window to order them. Now, real quick, I do need to mention that for one, a lot of DC on this week's show. That's because there is Labor Day coming up, and so they have to combine 2 weeks of ordering into 1 week. Now, if you order from our website, infinityflux.net, you'll notice that about half of them are missing, the ones that would be the next week. So they're working on that, and they should all be corrected by Friday. But if not, you can still search individually for the titles we talk about, and they're all there.
Yep.
It just may not show up on the kind of last call section.
Yep.
But still there. You can still subscribe, get all the coverage you want, all that good stuff. But let's get into this week because it's a big one. And it's, like we said, a big one for DC.
Yep.
So let's start.
Wonder Woman #1. So this is the new run of Wonder Woman written by Tom King with art by Daniel SAMPERE. And this one sounds interesting. In this, Wonder Woman is an outlaw because another Amazonian was accused of murder. So Congress passes the Amazon Safety Act, which bars all Amazons from U.S. soil. And the government also starts up a task force to remove those that don't comply, and Diana is one of those.
Interesting. And next up, we have another big #1. This is Flash #1. It's kind of our second wave of Dawn of DC #1 titles. This one is a new creative team of Cy Spurrier and Mike Deodato Jr. And not a whole lot is known about this. We are going to still be following Wally. And it kind of gives the hint of as his powers are getting stronger, he's getting more kind of in touch with how to use his speed powers, that this unlocks a new weird world of sci-fi adventures and mind-shattering terror. So it looks like they're going to be leaning in to a more sci-fi horror take in this new Flash run that could be really interesting. So if that sounds like your spin, definitely subscribe to this. And if you're currently subscribed to the Flash title, you will need to go in there and subscribe to the new one because it is technically a new series.
Yep.
So.
Next is Iron Man #10. So this is the big wedding between Tony Stark and Emma Frost. The seeds for this were planted in this week's issue of Iron Man. We've got X-Men 26 coming up soon that sort of leads into it a little bit more. And then here is the official wedding. Not a whole lot of details in the solicitation other than it says that attire is Hellfire formal and then Orcus raid to follow. And if you read this week's Iron Man, you know that Tony and Emma are out for revenge against all who have wronged them. So it all happens in this issue. And it says that there are some exclusive wedding extras as well.
Oh, fun. Maybe some photos, some goofy where they put little masks on and take pictures. Okay, next up is an indie book. This is Junior Baker Righteous Faker. And if that sounds a little familiar, back in 2011, there was Butcher Baker, the Righteous Maker. Was a really interesting book. This is by Joe Casey, and this is kind of a follow-up, but you can still jump on with this one, about a world that has moved past needing superheroes, and all the superheroes have kind of retired or moved on to other things. And this follows a new character who is a journalist, and he's doing stories on kind of a world that doesn't need superheroes anymore, but gets pulled in to a bigger story where his past and future violently collide. I know the last series was very violent, very over the top. And if you like this cover art, this is actually the interior artist, so kind of a very unique indie style with that. So if it sounds interesting to you, subscribe today.
Next is Green Lantern War Journal #1. So this is the new John Stewart Green Lantern book. This is the first appearance of a terrifying new villain. We don't have a name for that villain yet. But in this book, John Stewart he's Green Lantern no more. He's trying to go back to the life that he led before he became a Green Lantern. But a terrifying force with a mysterious connection to Oa appears on Earth, and the last Green Lantern of another universe. So another Green Lantern who we've not met before. I think they popped up in the backup stories in the new Green Lantern run. But they come seeking John's help because he is the only one who has faced and defeated this threat before.
And next up, we have another new #1. Like we said, a lot of big DC books this week because we're covering 2 weeks worth of stuff. This is Power Girl #1. This is by Leah Williams, and it's kind of continuing her run from the backup stories and Action Comics. But also, this takes place after Night Terrors, a long dormant Kryptonian threat is out to get the super family, and Superman actually thinks Power Girl is the only one who can stop it. Be interesting to find out why, because it seems like it may be something rooted in her past that only she can deal with. So I'm very excited about this. I love Power Girl, and this sounds really interesting. Glad she's getting a series again.
Next is Stuff of Nightmares Red Murder. I believe this is a one-shot, but this is about a comic creator named Alex Oxaka. He's been out of the spotlight for a few decades. He had a comic called Red Murder back in the early 2000s. It was a smash hit, and now we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of that. But there is a real axe murderer who is strikingly similar to the killer in the book. And that axe murderer is starting to chop down people in the real world. And how does that tie back to this comic?
Interesting. And by
R.L. Stine.
R.L. Stine. He's right there on the right.
Getting ready for spooky season.
Yes. And next up, we have Batman Catwoman, the Gotham War Red Hood, #1 of 2. This one, the very few extra tie-ins to the Gotham War, but this one is going to follow Red Hood. And as the Bat family is fractured, no one kind of feels the brunt of that as much as Red Hood, who's always kind of had a problem fitting in and all of that. And it said this will forever change the destiny of the man who wears the red hood. So interesting, keeping up with what's going on with Red Hood going forward. This may set kind of a new pathway for him that we don't know about yet. But this is going to be a 2-issue miniseries, so don't miss out on that one.
Next is Rumpus Room #1. So this is about a guy named Bob Shrunk. He is a billionaire. He's a collector of bad art, but he also has this hideous skin condition that can only be treated with a highly illicit facial cream that has to be harvested from humans. He apparently, you can see on the cover, I guess he keeps all these humans in a cage, but he's not all that bad because he does let his quote unquote guests select who will be next to go in the Rumpus Room. I'm assuming that that's where this cream is harvested from, but one of them has a special surprise for him. So this one also sounds extra creepy in time for spooky season.
Yes. And speaking of that spooky season, we have DC's Ghouls Just Want to Have Fun one-shot. So they do this for most of the holidays, and these are really fun kind of anthology-style books that have multiple stories in them, this time all themed around Halloween. So just quickly, we've got stories of Superman imprisoned by a ghost, Man-Bat versus a werewolf, Mary Marvel and Dr. Psycho crashing a Halloween frat party, The Question faces crimes of fashion, Robot Man wrestles a ghostly glitch, Crush helps Lobo find the perfect costume, and Nightwing and Red Hood spend a frightful night in Bloodhaven. And that story is actually be written by Christopher Sean, the voice of Nightwing in the Arkham Knights game. So just another fun one, especially get you in the spooky season, in the mood coming up. And we're going to be talking about a lot more Halloween books coming up very soon on the show. So that is pretty cool. And that is it for our top comics to pre-order in a flash. Don't miss our show coming up on Friday, where we'll be going over these books, plus many, many more in more depth, showing the variants, all of that stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to our show, to our channel, so you never miss one of our shows. We really appreciate that. And head over to infinityflux.net, where you can pre-order these books right now. If you can't find them in the last call section, just type them in. They'll pop right up and you can subscribe there. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time,
see ya.
Bye.